Stop motion, stop motion, stop motion. Interesting stuff here. Let's get into it with the very short IMDb plot here. A stop motion animator struggles to control her demons after the loss of her overbearing mother. Okay. Short and simple to the point here. So, fairly new movie here. I believe it was in some festivals and is finally kind of gotten a on-demand kind of release. I've noticed a lot of people have been reviewing it, so I had to kind of jump in and see this. And obviously, when you watch the trailer and so forth, or just see pictures of it, definitely intriguing poster for it as well. So lots of reasons to kind of want to hit play on this one. But is it worth it? Is it worth your time hitting play? Let's explore that. So yeah, here you have a young woman and her mother here. And it's basically her mother's business or her mother's film. She's, I guess, the mastermind behind this filming of this story here, in which it is stop motion, and I don't want to horror fans, you guys might be familiar with it. I kind of going to kind of film festivals and kind of seeing a lot of short films. You see more short films kind of done in this way than maybe bigger films. It is obviously hard to do. As you do watch them kind of do this, it kind of gives you a background. If you've never kind of gone behind the scenes of stop motion, as they're doing this, you can kind of see the progress and work of them and how they do this. Definitely a tedious kind of way to film and crazy way to kind of film. So if you want to maybe know a little bit without watching kind of a documentary or whatever, this kind of goes through briefly how it's done. So it's kind of interesting, at least in that aspect. But yeah, that's what they're doing here. They're doing a film with, I'm gonna call them puppets, sort of, and basically it is in the woods and it's kind of creepy, and they're trying to get this. The mother wants the character to move and perform some action, so the young woman here is the one who basically has to move the character ever so slightly that the mother wants to move, so they can basically kind of take a picture of it and then go again, so that eventually they can stream it all together and come up with the film, so it makes it look like they're moving. As you guys may or may not be familiar with. Obviously, as this is going on, you can kind of see the struggles of the young woman. She's frustrated by having to do this and take orders from her mom, and she might have some different creative ideas here, but the mom makes it clear it's her film and she wants it done in a certain way. Her mom is just physically unable to really move the characters herself, and that's why the daughter has to do it. Soon enough, an incident happens, and the mom ends up in a hospital, and it doesn't look good for her. So the daughter's left alone, and the daughter's left alone to finish the film or do what she wants with the film or create her own film. So as she kind of goes in her own direction here, she basically goes nuts. The simplest way to say, she just is not right in the head. Too much stop motion. Maybe she needs to stop. Too much motion. I don't know. She needs to definitely stop and take a breath, because there's something not right there. Again, new films, I try to be as spoiler free as possible here. But yeah, she's not right in the head. She's not good. She's trying to put together the film, and she encounters a little girl who wants to help her and also has ideas of her own, and also in a strange way kind of convinces her that, hey, it is the little girl's film now, and the little girl wants characters done in a certain way, and it is going to kind of take some creepy steps there as far as how they go along making the puppets and creating different puppets here for it. I'm not going to give it away. It's definitely a unique and disturbing way in which they get some new puppets going. The little girl has a story to tell, basically about a woman in a, I don't know, cabin or house or whatever, and there's a guy that's going to come and knock 3 times at the door, looking for her or wanting her or just wanting something bad to happen. Something bad is going to happen. And that's kind of the story that they're trying to film. So this young woman is kind of following the lead of the young girl, but also again you kind of see that same battle of, I was fighting with the mom and now I'm fighting with this little girl. What the hell is going on here? I want my movie. Then along with the fact that she has some other friends in the situation and that are trying to help her along, seeing her kind of struggle with what happened to her mom and her work, and you see another woman here who might be trying to steal the mom's ideas or her ideas, whichever you want to say, and that causes a little bit of conflict and doesn't help the mental state of this young woman who's definitely disturbed. So a lot to unpack there, and a lot in her world, and a lot going on there, and it is just going to get worse and worse for her as it goes, and the blurred line between reality and not reality, and the stop motion and not stop motion, will be blurred, and so forth. It is going to get a little bit bloody, and so forth. It's going to be a little bit craziness, and I don't want to give away stuff, but yeah, she's basically, she's going to be in a mental decline as it goes. There's going to be, a little bit of strangeness here with her. You know, there are points where you're watching this, and obviously it's an interesting combination of the stop motion, and it's one of those movies. A lot of times, we've seen over the years movies that will combine two things, animation and real life. We had way back in the day Who Framed Roger Rabbit, where we had the animation combination with the real life stuff, and we've seen other movies that kind of blend two different ways of filming together, and this one you kind of have the real stuff going on, the regular film, and then you have the stop motion stuff where they actually take you into it. You do have the girl kind of setting it up and you see that, but then there are times in the movie where they do giving you like short bits of the stop motion, so you are seeing the woman in the movie, the girl that they created in the movie, react to this guy that's after her, or you just see the woman react to different things, and they will take you to the stop motion. So you kind of have to have that comparison of how much is this woman in the stop motion compared to this woman in real life that's gone crazy or is going crazier as the movie goes on. So there's just a lot to unpack, a lot of the comparisons, a lot of kind of trying to figure out what is going on in her mind, and kind of watching her spiral out of control, watching what is happening in the stop motion that they're showing you, and how that relates to her or maybe not relates to her, and so forth, and what might be dreamlike and what is real that's happening here. So you definitely have to pay attention. I think there's one twist that you kind of figure out fairly early on, maybe not the first time, but eventually you're going to figure it out, and plays in part of her craziness as the movie goes on, and just it is bizarre for her. All of the stop motion is really cool in the movie. Every time they cut to it is really cool. Like I said, if you're not too familiar with it, and they kind of show you kind of how it's done, that's kind of interesting, like I said, without really boring you and going, this is how we do stop motion and blah, blah. No, but you just kind of see how they kind of do it and how hard it is. And then you kind of think that, hey, well, while they did this, they probably had to do this too. So, kind of credit them for having to actually do that for the film, regardless of doing it. So, and obviously interesting how they kind of combination of the horror and the making of horror, the making of stop motion. So it's an interesting combination in that respect too. Um, so, but definitely some strange elements to it. I fairly think that most of the reviews I saw, lots of people really liked it and so forth. Not that I didn't like it, but I guess it just was so focused on her downward spiral and so much of her spiraling and her mental state. I didn't expect that. And, some of it I liked, some of it I didn't. Obviously, the more horror it gets, I liked. Other stuff, it is a little bit much. It is a bit much to watch her spiral and so forth. Um, Part of me really wanted to just them to kind of like stop that and go to the stop motion. Let's let it roll and let's see what this guy that's knocking at the door and all this weird stuff that's happening in this forest. Let's let that roll and let's kind of just see that. Can we just take a time out from this crazy woman here and just go over to the stop motion and let's watch that and see what's going on there, and then we can come back to this crazy woman, and then whatever happens, whatever happens. I don't know. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like, there was just I wasn't there for all of that. Like, there are certain parts of her spiraling I was like okay for, especially the horror parts of it. She's gonna do some stuff to some people later on, and maybe some of the stuff. Sometimes when they blur that line of what's real and not, I don't always like that. And it was okay here, but I really didn't like, not knowing 100% for sure when maybe certain things were real or not, or whatever was going on in her head. Um, I don't know, like that part of it, I was, not so into. I thought she does a good job, the actress who plays it and so forth, of the struggle that she goes for, and I definitely they nailed it. They nailed her struggle and definitely going nuts. Uh, but I don't know that I was there for all of it, and maybe it was because knowing that the stop motion was there, and at points I just wanted that. I just like stop with the craziness. Let's just go here, and let's let this roll and play out with that. So I don't know. I see why people liked it and enjoyed it. It's definitely a good film, interesting, and definitely credit to all that stop motionness that's going on there, and even the little bit that they show. It's obviously not a full feature film of stop motion, but definitely I'm sure it took a lot of work to just show what they did. Um, so there's definitely good and bad there. I think in total, I'm going to give it 3 pools of blood out of 5. I tend to think that maybe others might have liked it a little bit more. Um, Here in IMDb, it says 5.7 out of 10, and probably about 1,600 um, ratings or star or people that rated it. So, not too bad. From what I gathered on Twitter and what I saw, I tended to think that maybe people liked it maybe a little bit more than I did, but maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I didn't have any major issue with it. It was just a little much with the craziness of her and blurring that line. Obviously has issues. I think some issues are clear, others maybe not so much, but definitely there. So um, you know I guess, that was my issue with it. She had issues, and I guess that was my issue that she had too many issues, or it was a bit much. I don't know. Maybe if the stop motion was in the background and it was just her kind of going crazy, then maybe I could have just accepted that and been okay with that. But I don't know. The stop motion was actually, a good break from it and whatever, but it always wanted me, I always wanted more of it. So I don't know. So yeah, at the end of the day, I'm going to give this one 3 pools of blood out of 5. So horrorsgorereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find all of my reviews written in video. Obviously, as I always say, more video than not. But definitely, if you go back, you can you will find writings. I did write reviews at one time, and I promise to do so eventually at some point. I don't know. But so, if you're just interested in the video reviews, like, subscribe, do everything that everybody wants you to do. If not, no worries. It is truly okay But I do thank you for any time you spent watching a review or short or either, both, whatever. Um, Twitter, Facebook information down below as well. Reach out to me there. We can talk horror, talk about this film, talk about stop motion. I'm not an expert, but if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. And definitely in the comment section, your thoughts on the film once you see it, your thoughts on stop motion, and how much were you aware before you watched this movie what goes on here and how they do that. It's pretty cool stuff. We definitely need more. I know, see how hard it is, but we definitely need more of it. So let's get to it, people. I'm not gonna do it, but let's get to it and do it. So with that, I will catch you in the next review, horror fans.